Good morning, everybody. My name is Diana Lee Chavaria, and I'm the program coordinator for Big Data for Patients. So we do have some slides coming up, but just to give a little background, Big Data for Patients is a project that we launched. Okay. There we go. Big Data for Patients is a program that we launched in July of 2015, and it really grew out of an interest of the new emphasis on big data and also patient centricity. Big data is sort of a concept that's used with increasing frequency in health research. Data can be generalized, analyzed, and utilized in various methods. In big data work, skills from many different disciplines are applied to analyze data to extract meaningful information. And this comes from a variety of sources, including electronic medical records, electronic health records, patient-reported outcomes, billing data, all things like that. And so big data in health is patient data, so the patient perspective and patient input is vital. And in order to be active partners, patients and advocates need to be equipped with the tools and skills necessary to navigate the landscape of big data in health. Just a bit about the program. It's basically a big data training program that aims to develop informed and empowered patient advocates that understand the uses, purposes, and limits of big data on health. What we're aiming to do is to equip patients with the knowledge and the tools that they need to actively and substantively participate in various big data initiatives. We have 4 main objectives, which you can see up there, basically increasing awareness of big data research and how those efforts affect patients, enhancing scientific literacy, developing a community of informed and empowered patient advocates, and then building a community of practice. Our experience in recruitment of patient advocates for our projects and programs identified a shortage of representatives who felt sufficiently informed and prepared to serve on different advisory panels. Although they are highly motivated, even the most ambitious advocates found big data content difficult to navigate. And this can result in patients participating not at all or in a reduced fashion. Different organizations such as FDA, PCORI, and NIH have more patient-centric initiatives that have a need for engaged advocates, and that's another reason that we felt this training was really needed. And then finally, you can see at the bottom a word map, and it's basically just a schematic from our initial needs assessment survey that we did over the fall. And these were just words from the that incorporated phrases from responses about the hopeful outcomes of the project and what the participants hope to gain after participating in this training. And finally, our projected outcomes directly relate to our overall program goal, which is to ensure that the patient's voice and patient's needs are central drivers of big data research and efforts in biomedicine. We anticipate that participants will be able to use the information gained from this training in a variety of ways that best suits their needs, and that they will be better equipped to work with partners to ensure patient-centeredness in big data research, apply evidence-based decision-making to key big data issues of importance in their advocacy constituencies, and provide educated patient perspective on issues related to big data. Ultimately, they could also participate on scientific advisory committees, review panels, and study sections. And now Alicia is going to speak a little bit more to BD4P program development.
All right, thank you, Diana. My name is Alicia Chow. I'm a project manager working with Diana on Big Data for Patients. And just going to give a bit of an update on kind of where we are now with program development for BD4P. So obviously Diana mentioned that we launched this initiative back in July of last year. So, we're coming in on a year, and so things have been moving fast. And I think, we're, kind of trying to leverage the excitement around big data and, patient empowerment and really to drive this work forward. So just a bit on the program support team. So at Reagan-Udall, we have Diana and myself providing programmatic support and project management. Additionally, we have a board liaison, Diana Zuckerman, serving to help provide some advice and direction on the program. We also have a multi-stakeholder a steering committee made up of representatives from patient advocacy community, the pharmaceutical industry, academia, and other nonprofits, and the technology industry. We were able to coordinate a fantastic multidisciplinary content work group that is providing advice on content development and really providing that subject matter expertise in various areas of health analytics, health IT, patient-centered research, and data privacy and security issues. And finally, we announced earlier this spring, we launched a collaboration with the University of Maryland to help us really pull the pieces of this training together and develop the educational training program. So we're working with Dr. Stephen Roth out of the University of Maryland, and his team is providing a consultation on shaping this training program. So current status. So we've been working with our great steering committee, our content advisors on the work group, and now Steve and his team at the University of Maryland, working to really refine some of the learning objectives and outline priority topic areas to really develop for the curriculum. So the training course itself, we're really aiming for it to be a mix of active and passive learning styles, really centered on the applications of the concepts that the patient advocates will be learning in the training. So, they're working on what this will actually look like, but it will be a mix of kind of hands-on learning, really centered around real-world case studies that put into context the big data concepts that they'll be learning about. And so here just kind of gives a short breakdown of how we're breaking up the different content areas. So we divided things out into 4 main thematic areas. So the first, deriving meaning from health data. So that area is really where the core concepts are going to be. So really looking at what does big data mean? What are the different types of data? Where are the different sources of data? Where is data coming from? And then really, looking at how data is being used and integrated. And this will also bring into play interoperability issues when you're trying to combine and make sense of different types of data and make them talk to each other. And a key point here is going to be addressing really the understanding of causation versus correlation and how that plays out in big data research. The second area is really exploring the big data approach in health research. So how is this different from more traditional approaches? Looking at the promises, both the promises and limitations of big data and how it can use to advance health research and ultimately benefit science and outcomes for patients. The third is really getting into the more policy and privacy aspects, looking at data access, data sharing issues, and the ethical concerns around privacy and consent. And then finally, the fourth area is really what we view as the common thread that will kind of pull all of this together, exploring the role of patients in health research. And as Diana mentioned, this will really be where we're focusing on the applications and trying to outline different roles and opportunities for patient advocates to have an impact and help shape health research. So next steps. So all along since we started this, BD4P has really been a very collaborative process. We've always looked to stakeholders for input in helping us develop this. When we first started, we put out a needs assessment survey, which is very helpful to start setting priorities from the beginning and outline priority areas of need and where really the interests lie in our community. As we go along, we'll continue to have webinars and stakeholder meetings to continue to have opportunities to get outside input on the program as it evolves. Finally, both for our external community and for participants that ultimately come and take the training, the goal is to develop a community of practice where we'll be able to continue to engage trainees that come through the course and keep them active and involved after they complete the training, and to help continue to build the engagement as we move this forward, and to really connect the patient community with the research community. And And I guess the next part, just wanted to have a plug for our upcoming stakeholder meeting on June 9th. And Diana and I are actively looking for additional partners and collaborators to help grow this program. So if you are interested, we highly encourage you to come join us for the June 9th meeting. If you have any questions, come see us afterwards. We'll be happy to give you information. Right now, we're still on track to meet our target date of having a draft curriculum ready by the end of June, and we're looking to use the summer to really refine this into the final training format, and looking to have our first pilot training in late September, early October. And so with that, I finished on this program, and happy to take any quick questions.
Looks like it's really coming together very well. I think the curriculum seems to be shaping up. My question is about how the program is intended to be delivered. It sounds like you're planning for this to be in-person, kind of face-to-face training. And that's probably a good way to get it started, so you get the optimal opportunity for feedback from the trainees. Mm-hmm. But it's probably not the optimal way to get the broad reach of the program. And it seems like at some point this should be able to be converted to a web-based training, so that it's more accessible to a much broader group of trainees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks for that question, Dr. Shilsky. And you're exactly right. So the goal right now for these pilot trainings is to focus on establishing the in-person trainings, because we thought that would facilitate the best opportunities to engage and get feedback from the initial groups of trainees coming through. Ultimately, as part of building the community of practice, we envisioned an online component to this, so that we will have an outlet to post materials and resources to make them more widely available to the public, because it's not realistic that everyone that's interested will be able to come in person for a training.
Someone under 20. Well, that's not many of us. So I spend time in meetings sometimes with hospital administrators who want to have patient groups or have patients as part of groups, and they express an inability to find enough of them and that have interest and have the knowledge. So are you thinking very much along the lines of what Rich was saying? Are you thinking about marketing this once it's all set up the way you want it and it's web-based and everything, to healthcare systems and other places that are really quite hungry, as best I can tell, for these sorts of people?
Yeah, thanks, Helen. And yes, I'd say Diana and I are definitely open to that. We've been trying to make headway and connecting with different health systems. I believe on our follow-up list, we're trying to reach out to Kaiser and Aetna, groups like that. And we definitely are open to any other recommendations. If you can point us in the direction of groups or individuals you think would be interested in talking about potential ways to partner and collaborate, because yes, ideally we'd like to start to lay the groundwork for identifying groups that are interested in carrying on this training after these, because right now we have planned an initial 3 pilot trainings, but looking more long term, it will really be up to the interest and support of the broader community to keep this going forward. Any other questions? All right, so I will move on to the next.
Go ahead. Because opening and closing this mic